Hello, Steve White, Steve Arts 89. Well, I just did a video about the trailer for the proper trailer for Monster the Gein story, and then I couldn't help but watch it again, and I noticed something that I didn't notice the first time, and I'm like, damn, I need to talk about that, so I have to do the video again. Okay, so it looks really good. Now, the big concern with this was when they cast Charlie Hunnam, who is sort of seen as this hot young actor because he started off as a hot young actor. He was the boy in the Queer as Folk, the original British Queer as Folk show, and I think he took the role when he was like 17 or something. But it's like 27 years later now, and they have made a serious attempt at making him look like Eddie Gein, and they do seem to be trying to do a serious portrayal of the character. The idea was, are they going to do some glamorized, sensationalized, sexy young version of Ed Gein, and it's just wrong, and they don't seem to be going that way. But there are a couple of scenes that do seem to depict things that don't happen. Now, some of these could be actually some of them are really just images, and they're promo images. There's a shot of him in like a green satin corset with a chainsaw, and that's just, sensationalized promotional photos, stuff like that. But there is a scene in the trailer where he does seem to have a chainsaw, and I'm like, he didn't kill anyone with a chainsaw. That was just seems to be reference to the fact that he inspired Leatherface in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, as well as Psycho and Hannibal Lecter and Silence of the Lambs. So I'm guessing it's a reference to that. And there's also a scene with a woman that he appears, a young, sexy young woman who he appears to have kidnapped, and he's assaulting and showing her the corpse of his mother and other women. And that never, to my knowledge, happened. So if that's not a fantasy, then that's grossly inaccurate, and just trying to push something in that is sort of, young and sexy, as opposed to what he really did, which was dig up the graves of older women and use their bodies to create things to play with and wear. And so if you don't know what Ed Gein did, basically he grew up in a small town. He had the traditional classic, domineering religious mother. He supposedly killed his brother. His father died, and then he killed his brother, allegedly, and ended up just being him and his mother for a while, but then she died. He lived by himself, but he started going to the cemetery and digging up the bodies of older women who sort of resembled his mother that had died recently, and he would use their bodies for certain things. He would skin them, and he made lots of things out of their bodies. He made lampshades, and he upholstered furniture, and he had a belt made out of nipples. He had a box full of vulvas. He had face masks for all the women. He'd wear the masks. He had made a suit of skin out of their bodies that he would wear, and apparently dance around in the moonlight on his farm, pretending to be a woman. He made soup bowls out of skulls. He made lampshades out of skin. His place was something like they'd never seen before when the police got in there. And no one really suspected anything because he was just, odd little Eddie Gein, and people just sort of humoured him like some sort of simpleton, and no one took him seriously. He did kill two women. One was the owner of a bar who had a bit of a reputation before she came to the town, and after she died, he joked that she was at home dead. That he basically had her in the garage, and they thought he was joking. No, he literally had her dead in the garage because he killed her and he was skinning her and everything. And then the second woman was the owner of a local store, who I think was the mother of the sheriff. So of course, as soon as she went missing, and Ed Gein was the last person who seemed to be in the store, he went after Eddie, and that's how he got caught. And there's a fairly horrific scene that you see him doing this primal scream when you see he's found his mother, and you only see a little bit of her leg. So I know what happened in the story. Most people were like, what's that? He found his mother hanging from the roof by her ankles with her legs spread, and she was like cut down the middle and gutted from the genitals down. So he walked in on her freshly gutted body, and he's just standing there screaming. So he did some pretty horrific things. And they do play him like a bit of a simpleton, and they have some scenes where he talks and he sounds very strange. And I'm not sure if Ed Gein sounded like that. I don't recall seeing any video of him where he didn't just sound like a regular man. But he's an interesting character. And there are a lot of scenes which I'm not sure how they can know any of this. So they do seem to be just, But the one thing I did notice was there is a shot of him in the woods. He seems to be cutting something with a chainsaw. Like taking a swing at something with a chainsaw. And I'm like, are they suggesting he killed someone and chopped them up with a chainsaw and got away with it? Or are they just showing him having some fantasies which could fit in with the story and the character, or it also could just be an excuse to show things that never happened and have some sensationalized, glamorized scenes with like him killing a sexy young lady or something, as opposed to digging up the corpses of older women. So I'm not sure. But from that one shot, it looks like it is at least part of it. And I don't know if I mentioned it or not, but the thing I really was surprised by when I saw this trailer, because I'd seen the teaser trailer, of course, and it sort of put to rest any sort of ideas that they're going to be doing a glamorized sort of sexy Hollywood version of him. But I didn't realise Laurie Metcalf was actually playing his mother. That just took it up at like a whole nother level. And I'm like, I don't know if I can wait for this now. I was just going to get it out on DVD or, sail, the high seas to watch it. But because I don't have Netflix, I haven't had Netflix since the whole Cuties thing, because I just didn't want to pay a company that would put up PDF file films that, exploit young women. So I haven't had Netflix for about 7 years. I used to have it every month. I just cut it off and haven't gone back. But I don't know if I can wait for this one. And they don't normally release their stuff on DVD, so I don't know if I can wait. So I'm not quite sure what to do here. But it looks really good, and I'm a little concerned about these scenes. They may be adding things that they can exploit for the trailers and stuff like that to get people in that don't really reflect the actual story. So there's two things. Like there's also, did I mention that there is some promotional photography of him wearing this satin green corset with a chainsaw and sort of wielding that. And there's a few scenes where he dances around in women's clothing as well, on lingerie. And the best scene though is where he's dancing in this long dress that kind of looks like Mother Bates. And someone knocks on the door and he turns around and he's got the face mask on of the woman, the dead woman, and it's just really pretty amazing. So I'm really looking forward to this, but I am still a little bit concerned about these scenes that don't seem to reflect the actual story, and I just hope they aren't exploiting any elements of this because, real people died. They shouldn't be doing stuff like that. So I'm going to go for free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you thought of the monster, the Ed Gein story trailer, the full trailer, the teaser, the whole thing. Looking forward to seeing it, just not sure how and when I'm going to see it.